couldn't explain it. But there it was, alive, in the deep, deep waters of the Amazon. A throwback to a creature that had existed 100 million years ago, immensely strong and destructive. A woman's beauty, the bait that brought it out of its lair. Sea underwater thrills never photographed before. See Titanic underwater battles never dreamed of before. In this most terrifying of the science fiction adventures.
Good morning, gang. Welcome to day 7 of 31 Days of Monsters. Today we're talking about the creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the last of the great Universal monsters. I'm going to incur some ire here and say that it's not my favorite. I mean, I love the design of the character. I like the acting in it and everything. But the one thing about this movie that kind of brings it down for me is that they had a choice to make at the time due to the budget. They were either going to shoot it in Technicolor or they were going to shoot it in the new hip 3D technology. And they chose the 3D, which, you know, was a fad, and it didn't translate. And now when we watch it, we just see a black and white film that doesn't have those great black and white tonal qualities, particularly in the underwater scenes. They just didn't have the shooting technology for that. But all I can think of is what this movie would have looked like in Technicolor. All those underwater scenes, the color of the creature and everything. To me, it would have been a much better movie if they just didn't do the 3D and went for that gorgeous color. The stars of this movie are Richard Carlson, Richard Denning, and of course the beautiful Julie Adams. The real star, of course, is the creature. And the creature didn't always look the way you think. This is an early design of the creature. More human, less aquatic looking, perhaps. Kind of weird looking, to be honest. But thankfully they didn't go with this. The head of the Universal makeup department was a guy named Bud Westmore, and he gets credit for the creature from the Black Lagoon because he was a notorious credit hog. But the costume, putting the costume together, was done by a guy named Jack Keevan. But the original design, the real design of the creature, that credit belongs to this lady here, Millicent Patrick. She was a former Disney animator, worked on Fantasia, and she also a part-time actress too as well. She was either married to or dated George Tobias, great character actor from the 40s. And you know, whenever there's a World War II movie and you need that guy from Brooklyn, there was always George Tobias. But yeah, so she'd been around in Hollywood, a very talented artist. And she came up with the design of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, the creature himself was played by two different guys. There was the swimming creature, which was played by Rico Browning. And here's Millicent Patrick applying some. This is obviously a promotional photo. I mean, she's not going to be painting on the guy and have him go in the water, but. Rico Browning was a swimmer. Grew up in Florida. I think he worked for one of the water parks down there at the time, and he eventually had a very long career in Hollywood, shooting a lot of underwater camera work and stuff. In fact, he shot a lot of the stuff in Thunderball, the James Bond film. Anyway, at this point, Rico was the creature, and he was the underwater creature. But when the creature would come on land, you can see here Rico was not that big a man. IMDb lists him as 6 foot, but I don't think he was. I think he was shorter than that from other things that I've seen. And if so, then Millicent Patrick was really tall here. But anyway, the on land creature was played by a man named Ben Chapman, who was a very tall man. He was a guy who grew up in Hawaii, surfer, another swimmer. He bounced around Hollywood for a little bit, but he was 6'5", and you can see the difference here. So they wanted the creature to be imposing when he was on land. This is actually this was a publicity shot. That's Ben Chapman in the costume here. I know that because I met Ben Chapman at a Monster Bash once. But even prior to that, through the magazine Famous Monsters of Filmland, he was offering autographs, pictures of himself as the creature that you could mail away for. So I sent it out, and this was the photograph he sent me. It's hanging up in my living room, actually. Not this particular, it was this image, but this isn't mine because obviously it doesn't have the signature on it. And here's Rico Browning swimming as the creature. Another great shot. That would be Ben Chapman on land there. Big guy. But look at the detail on that costume. The creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know that they should even remake it. I don't know how you can make it that costume still holds up. I mean, except for the rubber nails. Here, there's a sequence in the beginning where the creature's claw comes out of the water, and it drags across. It drags across the sand like that, and you can see the little rubber nail kind of rolling up a little bit, But those are just little nitpicky things. It's a fine film with a great monster, and it spun off 2 more: Revenge of the Creature, which had John Agar in it, and also had a young Clint Eastwood as a lab technician. One of his first films when he was under contract to Universal. And then the third one was The Creature Walks Among Us. And that was a complete departure where the creature gets captured and he gets burned. He gets burned up, and his body evolves into a land-based creature, and all of a sudden he becomes like a WWE wrestler. He's this gigantic padded body. It's sort of a weird one, but it's got Jeff Morrow in it, and Jeff Morrow is always good and everything. Which brings me up to tomorrow's movie is going to be This Island Earth, which has Rex Reason and Jeff Morrow in it. So we're going to be talking about that sci-fi classic and the Metaluna mutant tomorrow. Let's see who's up this morning and in the room here. Oh, looks like we got a lot of people in here this morning. That's because there's a lot of love for the creature, and I get it. I just, why didn't they do it in color? He doesn't think the creature gets enough love, Dr. Mask. I don't know. I think he does. I think, the creature is, as far as like merchandise and stuff, really sells well. Then it's hard to come by. If something new comes out with the creature, it always sells out. A lot of fans of the creature. Okay, good morning. Okay, Hyper Kaiju, Chris Juliano, Nolan Taylor, Key Davis is in the room. Bob Dan Art, George Travelos, who says that this is his all-time favorite Universal monster. Chris says 3D stayed a fad. That is true. Never really did hit it. Ben Schaefer says absolute legend. Hyper Kaiju says, thank God they didn't go with that. I'm sure he's referring to the original design that I had showed. Good morning, Scott Pickering. Cool Cotton. Levitt says, I need a Universal Monsters comic book by Dixon Nolan in my life. Well, Will, you must not have read Joe Frankenstein. That was my love letter to the Universal Monsters. IDW published that a few years ago. You can grab the hardcover on Amazon. So look for that one. Oop, Statistical Zero beat me to it. Take a look at Joe Frankenstein if you haven't. Mark Mayer, good morning, Graham. Thanks for talking about my favorite Universal monster. Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, my favorite Universal monster is Frankenstein by Karloff, which we covered the other day. Let's see here. Any other questions here? Something I didn't cover about this movie. Lord Finatra, you're the creature we love, Graham. That's pretty funny. And let's see now. I was able to do this show today, and you all had sound, and I haven't knocked myself out of the stream yet. So this looks like a red letter day so far. As I gingerly grab my mouse to scroll down here. Rico Browning filmed the underwater scenes as the creature, but Julie Adams didn't film underwater scenes either. She had a stand-in or swimming. Yes, that is true. Julie did have the whole underwater dance sequence where the creature's underwater and Julie's character is swimming above and he's mirroring her underwater. It's a beautifully poetic and romantic scene. But yeah, that's a stand-in for her. Chris Juliano wants to know, was there ever any talk of Universal doing another film after Walks Among Us? I haven't heard anything, or never heard anything, I should say, because it was quite a long time ago, that they planned on doing another one after that. But there's been talk around Hollywood for years about a remake of The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Guillermo del Toro's talked about it. I think John Carpenter. There's been a whole slew of start and stops for this. I don't know. Do you need a remake of it? I don't know. Maybe with the technology today, it could be updated. I don't know. I don't think you need to remake everything. Sometimes it's just great as is. I mean, look at how many Frankenstein movies there's been made, but there's none better than the Karloff one. But by that token, there's a lot of Dracula movies. More. I think Dracula's the most movies of any fictional character. But some are better than others. Like Lugosi's might have been the first, but some of the Christopher Lee ones are fantastic. And improved upon. So I don't know. We'd have to see. It depends, I guess, on what direction they take it. The creature has a lot in common with King Kong, I think, in that the creature's not the monster. Richard Denning is the monster in this movie. Maybe I should have done a Richard Denning stream. Richard Denning usually plays the hero, and he's awesome. I really like him as an actor. He was great in radio shows. He was great in movies. He was great in TV. I think he played the governor on Hawaii Five-0 when he and his wife, the lovely Evelyn Ankers, who was Gwen in The Wolfman, the original Wolfman, and was a Universal contract player. They married and were married up until her death from lung cancer. moved to Florida, not Florida, Hawaii, and then he did some work on Hawaii 5-0. But Richard Denning's character in this movie is the real jerk, and he's just looking for the fame, the accolades, and the money. And he's sort of like Carl Denning. Carl Denning? Yeah, from King Kong. That character, he's a promoter of himself. And again, Kong falls in love with a girl, which draws him out. And the creature falls in love with a girl, that draws him out. So there's a lot of parallels between the two. James Allen says, we don't need a CGI creature. Denning was in Black Scorpion. Yeah, Black Scorpion's a great, fun B movie. I think it might be one of the last that Willis O'Brien animated, and that's a little tie into King Kong there. Willis O'Brien was the technician artist that created the stop motion effects for King Kong, and was he was Ray Harryhausen's mentor as well. Carl Denham. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Statistical Zero. Denning, Denham. Sometimes it all merges together. Will Abbott liked the Kenneth Branagh Frankenstein. Okay. Guillermo would be the only person I trust with a Creature remake. Well, he is a lover of the Universal monsters, that's for sure. So he probably could put, it probably would be in good hands with him. I have not seen The Shape of Water. I've heard that's kind of like his version of the Creature. Let's see. Okay. Well, I think we got this one covered for the day. Yeah, I think so. So again, yep, tomorrow we're going to go out into deep space and look back at This Island Earth, which was a big budget for Universal, Technicolor sci-fi film, which I really like. It's sort of like two movies in one. So if you have a chance to catch that today so we can talk about it tomorrow, that would be cool. So I like to do these things in the morning, is so that if you haven't seen it yet, you can rent it, or if you have it, buy it or watch it, and kind of catch up on it, and so that we can discuss it the next day. So I wish you guys all the best today. You have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for This Island Earth. You have a great one.